Teens from Boston and surrounding communities are also looking for help from the state legislature. Their main concerns are environment. Can I do that one more time, please? I didn't stress that the right way. Oh, okay. Teens from Boston and surrounding communities are also looking for help from the state legislature. Their main concerns are environmental justice and summer jobs. To tell us about their agenda and the action plan for May 16th are two members from Youth of Massachusetts Organizing for a Reformed Economy, or YMORE. We'd like to welcome a teen organizer from YMORE and St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in the South End, Frankie Bruny, and a teen organizer who's also active with the youth force at the Dorchester Bay EDC, LeKiara. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
We're going to start with Frankie. Talk about one of the issues that teens will be bringing up to state legislators next week, and this is environmental justice. What's your concern about that?
My main concern about environmental justice would be the diesel, especially since a lot of the buses in Boston use diesel, and it's a really big issue, especially since in Roxbury, a lot more of the kids in Roxbury are more likely to get asthma than anywhere else in Massachusetts. So to me, that's a big problem, especially since I work with kids. So.
And even if buses might be retrofitted and not as bad as they used to be, we're talking about a lot of other large vehicles that use diesel, maybe construction vehicles?
Yeah, that too. There's a lot of construction going on, especially in Boston, and that also affects a lot of the people, especially since a lot of the construction that go around are closer to where people live. That could also affect them.
LeKiara, talk a little bit about your experience with this, as far as the effect of any kind of air pollution really on health in the community.
In terms of health in the community, I have a lot of friends that suffer from asthma and people in their families that suffer from asthma attacks, which cause them to miss school. So I have, when my friends miss school, I'm one to, help them, give them a worksheet, maybe catch up on the homework. But it's only because their asthma is so bad and because they've been living in Roxbury their whole lives, that air pollution effect really does take a toll on a family. And I'm sure there's more families that suffer from that same problem.
Now, there's a sense that, well, maybe this is just a problem for people who live close to the center of the city, and in the suburbs, they don't have to worry about this. But I guess your coalition is going to show otherwise, right?
Youth Jobs Coalition in YMORE.
Frankie, I guess the idea is you want to get together with young people in some other communities that might have the same concerns, because I heard that there were even concerns about pollution and diesel emissions in Brookline.
Yeah. We do have one of our teams working on a campaign in Brookline as well, making sure that there aren't diesel issues in Brookline, so that we, as well as Boston, we could work together to make sure that everything's okay. Me personally, I don't live in Boston, so I also would like in the future to try to work on other campaigns in different areas.
What kind of campaigns? Diesel
campaigns, to make sure that the diesel and
Yeah, to make sure that it's not as bad and that there's something to be done about it. I want to come back to LeKiara. Talk about the importance of summer jobs, because this is the other issue that you're going to be bringing up on the 16th.
So in terms of the importance of summer jobs, my coalition and the other teens and supervisors at Dorchester Bay, we are all very serious about the issue of youth jobs and how we feel as though every teen should have access and the opportunity to have a job, because it's very sorry.
Well, what's the difference between having a job and not having a job? Because if you tell people what you'd do if you didn't have a job, then you understand how important it is.
The difference between having a job and not having a job, especially a social justice job, is that you get to do things that you're not really exposed to at school. For example, for myself, I really like public speaking, and that is something that I'm able to practice very often that I'm not able to practice at school because of my job. And through my job, I'm able to do things like that, as well as be able to network with people who I wouldn't have been able to otherwise.
Frankie, talk about your experience with summer jobs.
Well, I started off working in St. Stephen's, which is the youth program. I started there as one of the children in the community, in the summer program, and I ended up working my sophomore year in high school. And through that, I've just been able to do a lot of different things, like community organizing, in which we've collaborated with YMORE, and being able to go on mission trips and a lot of different service projects. And that really helped me a lot, because I never really knew what to do or how to get involved in my community until I started working there.
Which was your favorite project?
My favorite project so far would have to have been a mission trip that I did in New York City. And I was able to work with many different soup kitchens and homeless people, and it really touched my heart in a lot of different ways.
So you come back and you tell people about your experience there. What was the most important thing?
The most important thing was being able to see different people in a different light, as opposed to what we're exposed to or the stereotypes, and just really having to sit down and talk to them and getting to know what they were really like and how their situation is.
LeKiara, you talked about having an opportunity to use your public speaking skills. What was your most interesting opportunity for that?
My most interesting would be when I spoke at a gala, I believe it was, for GBIO, which is Greater Boston Interfaith Organization. And there I was able to speak about the Youth Jobs Campaign and the coalition and everything we're working on between our private sector campaign and everything. And it was more than 100 people there, and it was my very first time, which was actually a couple of months ago. And that was a really good experience for me, because after the first time, I just felt like I could do it any other time.
So now you might have to do some public speaking with state legislators. Talk about the event on the 16th that's being planned.
Okay, so in terms of the event, right now we're still giving people roles from each organization. For example, my organization, we're in charge of turnout, and turnout is when we gather people, like we recruit people to join and get other people who are not part of an organization involved in their communities. And that way we just call them and we network with people we both know and we don't know, to just get everyone in different communities involved, because it's very important to have everyone represented in their district, especially with something like jobs and getting funding.
Frankie, is there anything the viewers should know about this event, about what you plan to do on the 16th?
Well, what we're planning to do is make awareness of the issue and how serious it is in different locations, and also to try to get, an answer of how we're going to be able to change it and if we will be able to change it, and make sure that the youth are more involved and that they're able to be aware of the issues.
All right, well, thank you both very much. Frankie Bruny and LeKiara Gray from YMORE.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Still to come, an environmental report card from Mass Inc. But first, this message.